We're here with Jordan Ghawi for our inaugural Tech District Block Walk powered by Geekdom. Jordan is the Director of Strategic Initiatives at South Texas Regional Advisory Council and advisor for CityFlag. Thanks for walking with us, Jordan.
Of course.
Alrighty, so give us the Jordan Ghawi brief.
So I used to work at Rackspace. So out of high school, I went over and worked at Rackspace, and I spent about 3 years over at Rackspace before determining that I really wanted to go and help people with my hands versus with the keyboard. So I left there and became a firefighter paramedic. After that, I had a chance to jump into STRAC, which is the Regional Healthcare Trauma System, and had an opportunity to build system levels of care versus being in the back of an ambulance or being on the back of a fire truck.
Awesome. And what would you say your connection is to the tech industry and the downtown scene?
So I actually grew up downtown. I spent a lot of my formative years down here. I went to school down here, and I've seen it evolve over time to the point that it's actually brought me back to downtown. And now I live in Beacon Hill, which is just north of here. So downtown is really my backyard and my playground.
Nice. And what is the significance of the tech industry continuing to grow in San Antonio?
Well, I think there's a direct correlation between the amount of investment in technology and the impact that it has on the economy. I think that San Antonio's tech district and the tech industry and ecosystem are inexorably linked to our downtown growth. We just have to find a way to better support it.
Nice. And we talked a little bit about your connection to CityFlag, so will you talk a little bit more about that and how the company is dramatically changing the way city makes civic fixes?
Sure. So CityFlag is an incredible startup here in San Antonio. What they've gone ahead and done is built an app with the city called 311 SA. This is an app that allows for citizens to connect with government, specifically by being able to report issues that you would normally call into 311, but using your smartphone. Technology's changed the way that we communicate with one another, like we're doing right now. Why hasn't it changed the way that we connect and communicate with our government? So they saw a need for it, they built an app, and it's changing the way that we connect with government and makes government more accountable to our needs as citizens.
Nice. And why do you think we need more companies like CityFlag?
Government is not the most efficient machine in the world. So what we can do is utilize technology to make them more efficient, make them more accountable, and more responsive to the needs of the people.
Awesome. So from your purview, what is the significance of the role that Geekdom is playing in growing downtown around, the tech and co-working scene?
New ideas, new jobs, and collaboration. Geekdom's probably pushed close to 1,000 new jobs out of businesses that have started there, companies that have started within the walls of Geekdom. And when you look at the jobs they've created, the vast majority of which are well above the median average income in San Antonio. So they really are driving the tech industry and driving growth into downtown, especially on Houston Street.
Nice. Now, speaking of companies, what is another company in the downtown scene that you believe is having great impact on the community?
CodeUp.
Speaking of.
CodeUp is great. So at STRAC, we also build some applications for emergency management. One of the developers that we have now at STRAC is from CodeUp. He's been an absolutely phenomenal developer, and he learned everything that he knows from attending a startup accelerator at CodeUp.
Awesome. So what do you believe is on the horizon for our downtown core? So what are you most looking forward to?
The additional growth. I would love to see more growth downtown, new businesses, both tech and food and restaurants and shopping. I think this is a place that everyone should want to live in.
Awesome. And speaking of growth, what is the best way for people to make a difference within the growth? So our tech industry and just the city overall.
So I would say for the city overall is starting to do some more infill. We've done a lot of sprawling. San Antonio keeps saying we're the 7th largest city in the nation, and we are, but that's more geography. We're not dense, and I think it's time that we start addressing the infill. So let's move out of the loops, let's move into downtown, start being a part of this incredible growth down here and the incredible opportunities that are being born and bred in downtown San Antonio. And for the tech sector, I think it's just about learning more on what's happening in San Antonio and becoming a champion for that. We need to attract, retain, and recruit more talent into our urban core.
Awesome. Now, speaking of downtown, we're passing some restaurants here. What would you say is your favorite place to eat?
Playland. I love Playland because it's right there on Houston Street. You can sit outside and do people watching all day long, and all of their pizzas are amazing.
Awesome. So you'd say your favorite dish over at Playland is the pizza?
Any
you
of
had
the
to choose.
any of the red pies.
Ah, that sounds delicious. Now, what other city have you traveled to that most closely compares to San Antonio, and how?
I travel a lot, and I don't think there is a city that compares to San Antonio, and that's both good and bad. We look downtown and we see some of our problems with congestion. We see a lack of public transit systems, but most of the cities that I've been to have also already been built up. They're landlocked. Their growth is kind of completed. We have an opportunity right now, especially our generation, to define what San Antonio's future looks like and what our city is going to be. So it's about being involved in that process and allowing us to dictate what San Antonio of the future will be.
Awesome. And finally, any other lasting thoughts that you want to share for anybody watching?
Yeah, get more involved, more informed, and engaged. You look at our turnout, and our last mayoral election, or city elections, had just over 13% of people showing up at the polls. The differences, the policies and differences, the policies that make or break this city aren't the ones coming from the federal government, it's coming from local government. So get informed, go out to the polls, be a part of this process, read up on local news. Rivard Report, right out of Geekdom. We should be supporting organizations that are putting focus on what's happening in San Antonio.
Awesome. Well, we'd like to thank you again for walking with us, and we enjoyed hearing your input on Geekdom, and we hope to hear more about CityFlag. Thank you so much.
Thank you.